Caribbean International. 101, number one. Tired of the ordinary at lunchtime? Why not try something smart to chew on? The Lunchroom on RCI, Monday to Friday, 12:45 to 2 p.m. The Lunchroom, informative, enlightening, provocative, engaging. The Lunchroom on RCI, food for thought. The station that gives you, more lunch.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchroom on Radio Caribbean International for Wednesday, the 4th of February, 2026. And of course, we are on 101.1 FM radio. You can also get us at our website, rcistlucia.com. And we are streaming live online, both on YouTube as well as on Facebook. On Facebook, you just have to search for the official page of Radio Caribbean International. Now, we've got back on for the month of February, Republic Bank, and they are going to be speaking about their 2026 independence campaign. We'll be hearing from a representative of Republic Bank, Eastern Caribbean Limited in just a bit. But first, look back in time to some happenings of this day. We look back to the year 960 in China, the coronation of Zhao Kangjin as Emperor Taizu of the Song initiated 3 centuries of Song dynasty dominance in southern China. In the year 1789, the first U.S. Electoral College chose George Washington as president and John Adams as vice president. 1859 on this day, one of the oldest known copies of the Bible, it's called the Codex Sinaiticus, or the Sinai Bible, was seen in Egypt by Constantine von Tischendorf, who took the manuscript home with him. In 1865, Robert E. Lee was named General-in-Chief of the Confederate Forces during the American Civil War. 1969 on this day, the Palestine National Congress appointed Yasser Arafat as chairman of the PLO. 1988 on this day, Panamanian General Manuel Noriega was indicted by a U.S. federal grand jury for drug trafficking and racketeering. And in 2004 on this day, Mark Zuckerberg launched Facebook from his Harvard dorm room. We now move on to our dish of the day.
Serving now, the Daily Dish. This has been the Daily Dish.
And welcome back to our program for today. And as I said, we should be getting in a call sometime soon from Republic Bank. And of course, we'll take that in once we get it somewhere around 1:15. But certainly we want to speak about a matter that's been very topical of late here in St. Lucia, and that is the entrance into the St. Lucia market of a company that's very well known around the world and has certainly caused a certain level of transformation and perhaps in some quarters a certain level of grief and change for players within the space that they operate. And I speak of Uber. And of course, it has been one of these transformational companies that have certainly changed the way we travel and travel within local spaces around the world. These are coming from the general idea of having a sharing economy. That's a big idea, big concept that is promoted out there. And before, there was a certain time that perhaps we never used to we used to share quite a lot, and, but not in such complex ways. You had libraries, for example, being major points of sharing of books and knowledge and learning. The same can be said of universities as well, and sharing of academic papers. But in certain fields, this has certainly not been the case. And the sharing economy has been definitely put on steroids as a result of information and communications technologies. And this advent of the internet has been a flattening process in terms of really changing how a lot of sectors provide services, how they work. One which has possibly been very beneficial to a lot of St. Lucians out there is that of Airbnb. It works on a very similar basis and a very similar model, that you have a common space, which is the internet, on this platform or an app, and individuals can effectively sell a product on this app anywhere around the world, and it really allows buying as well as selling to become a lot easier. Similar as what you have with platforms like eBay and Amazon, which allow for these um, super scale markets, if you like, for buying and selling of products, right? If you can get on to Amazon to sell your books or to sell some sort of product, or eBay, similar way, or Alibaba, it allows you then to be able to sell to the world, right? And in a similar way, you have it with Airbnb. And with Airbnb, I think you are effectively selling hotel, or you're selling a room, you're selling accommodation. And so within that area, it of course has helped a lot of St. Lucians who would not normally have had the market presence to be able to actually get into that space. And certainly it has helped tremendously in that sense, in respect of persons being able to gain revenue from this opportunity of being able to advertise your small guest house or your couple of rooms adjoining your home, and you now are an international seller, selling products to people from all over the world. And that has helped because, of course, we're in the business of tourism, and it certainly has helped. Have there been persons who've been upset about it? Of course, traditional hoteliers are not that keen and enthused about the idea of Airbnbs and similar platforms, because from their perspective, of course, it is something that they have to do certain, provide certain services, and they got to meet certain standards. And who's really checking in terms of these other players that are now coming in? The responsibility ends up being that of this external corporate player, that of Airbnb, who then has to handle things like certification and watches quality, and of course within that context, reviews become very important as well. It is the nature of the way that we're heading, and in the same light, you have platforms like Uber who are providing rideshare services coming on, and of course it has spread to many parts of the world, into fields, however, that do sometimes see a tremendous amount of pushback, and particularly from taxi unions, taxi operators in countries around the world. They, of course, will argue that, look, they've gone through a certain level of training, and they've got to meet certain standards. Now, interesting enough, in the case of St. Lucia, we have not yet seen an introduction of Uber, which is effectively suggesting that anybody can become a driver. That's not quite where it is at right now. They've been introducing Uber Taxi. It's a little different, which suggests that you've got to be a taxi operator already to be able to be part of the program. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more, and to see who can be the winners and losers. Is it a zero-sum game? can this in fact grow the market for taxi operators? We'll certainly have a conversation about that in just a bit. But that's our dish of the day. When we come back, we will be touching base with our friends from Republic Bank.
This has been The Daily Dish.
Now, welcome back to the Lunchroom here on Radio Caribbean International, and welcome to Republic Corner, brought to you by Republic Bank. And of course, first program for the year 2026. And this week, as I said, the focus is, of course, on independence coming up. And we'll be speaking about coming home and what that means, whether you're buying land or building or refinancing or switching to your mortgage. All of that is coming up in terms of a wonderful special for independence. Lots of offers are being put up by Republic Bank EC Limited. And I think we do have a representative of Republic Bank on air with us. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon, listeners.
And is that Florence?
Yes, it is.
Wonderful. And we're speaking with Florence DeMac. She is the branch manager of VA4 Republic Bank EC right here in St. Lucia. Thanks for joining us on the program. Now, Florence, what is the Come Home with Republic Bank campaign all about?
Okay, colleagues, we have great news to share at Republic Bank. The Come Home campaign is actually our independence loan initiative designed to help customers take steps towards owning a home, purchasing land, refinancing, or investing in their future with responsible and affordable financing.
Wonderful. And I know lots of St. Lucians sometimes want to come home for independence to celebrate. Why is this launch? Why is Republic Bank launching this campaign during independence?
So as you know, independence is about growth and looking ahead, right? The word independence itself is about ownership. Now, this campaign, it aligns perfectly with that spirit by helping individuals and families do just that, right? To own. And not only to own, but to build stability and long-term security through taking bold steps, importantly making smart financial decisions.
Great. And now, when does this campaign run?
Okay, the campaign runs from February 2nd to March 31st, 2026, and the special rates apply only to loans booked during the period. So we encourage the public to come in and take advantage of this wonderful opportunity now.
Okay, so it's good to know that we don't have just the month of February, because that's a short month. You're giving us a 2-month period to put our house in order and to ensure that those loans are solid and booked within that period. So we have up until March the 31st. Now, who is eligible to apply for these loans?
Okay, so we want to celebrate with our St. Lucians, and for that reason, we decided to make this campaign exclusively for our St. Lucian residents. It's open to residents who meet our standard living criteria, including, salaried workers such as our civil servants or our private sector employees. Also professionals such as doctors, lawyers, accountants, and more, as well as our self-employed customers.
Okay, great. Now, what loan products are actually included in this campaign?
Oh, I tell you, colleagues, we have a lot to offer. Right now, I want to speak directly to our solutions, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you have an existing mortgage and you are unhappy with the service being provided by your bank, or you're unhappy with the rate, you can come to chat with us, because at Republic Bank, we offer mortgage switching and refinancing. Not only can we switch a mortgage, but we can also use the equity in your property to do almost anything, such as house repairs, educational expenses, vacation expenses, debt consolidation, you name it. And guess what? For new clients switching mortgages from competitors, or for those purchasing a new home, we even have a special offer for a credit card with a good, very nice welcome bonus.
Wow. Okay. Sounds pretty awesome indeed. And
And
you,
there's more.
oh,
You can also purchase land with us or simply switch your land loans to us.
okay.
We can also assist with home purchase loans.
Mm-hmm.
It happen loans for smaller goals, like if you want to just go on a vacation, buy a vehicle, you want to buy something, maybe furniture. But here's something you may not have heard before. Under our Make It Happen loans option, we not only offer cash-secured loans and unsecured loans, but we can also grant you a loan using the cash surrender value of your existing insurance without requiring you to move those savings over. And I'll say it again, we can grant you a loan
Mm-hmm.
using the cash surrender value of your existing insurance without requiring you to move those savings over. Under the campaign, we also provide sustainable energy financing. If you are looking to do eco-friendly home improvements,
Mm-hmm.
such as solar panels, energy efficient appliances, water conservation systems, and sustainable building materials, you can come to talk to us.
But that's everything you told us there. And toot bagay under this program.
Mhm.
Wow, wow, wow. And now just you when you spoke about the insurance and the cash and the value of the insurance, you're speaking about your home insurance, your house insurance?
Life insurance.
Or life insurance. Okay. All right, great. Now let's talk about the mortgages. What makes this mortgage attractive and an attractive offer?
Okay, customers can benefit from competitive independence rates. So let me add special rates. They can benefit from flexible repayment terms of up to 40 years. We also provide support with certain switching or purchase related costs subject to eligibility.
Okay, so there's definitely competition there, very flexible repayments, and up to 40 years you can in fact get a mortgage with Republic Bank. So that's all very good news as well. Does Republic Bank really cover switching costs?
Oh,
If
yes,
you want
we
to actually
do.
switch your loan or your land loan or your
Oh,
mortgage?
yes, oh, yes. For eligible customers, we do. The bank may cover certain switching or purchase costs up to a capped amount. However, this amount will be paid directly to the service providers and not directly to customers.
So even let's say the cost of if you got to do a new appraisal or anything like that, that's going to be covered within there?
Yes, we will pay the appraiser, we will pay the legal fees, but we do not pay the customers directly.
Okay, well, that's good. Wonderful. Now, can customers get 100% financing? That's a big question for a lot of people
Yes,
who may.
that's a big one, and I love it. Yes, unlike other financial institutions, by the way, we're the best. I know
Of
you may not
course,
want to answer, but we're the best.
of course, of course. But I mean, we talk about 100% financing. I mean, for house
Yeah,
purchases, for
we offer 100% financing. In some cases, financing can go slightly beyond that when combined with additional financing that has been approved.
wow. I
Mhm.
mean that's tremendous. But you said, of course, this is not in all instances, but you're going to have to look at the circumstances, I
The
suppose.
customer, correct.
Okay. Is this campaign only for first-time buyers?
I would say not at all. While first-time buyers benefit greatly, the campaign also supports customers, again, who wish to refinance,
Hmm.
who wish to switch from the institution to us. So anybody doing anything additional, like purchasing property, like I said, home improvement, medical expenses,
Hmm.
we also provide. We also cover these people under the campaign.
That's great. Now, are young people being targeted specifically?
Yes, yes. They're not left behind at all.
Hmm.
Um, we have special considerations for young first-time buyers aged 21 to 35, particularly for land purchases, to help them start building early. Imagine owning your piece of furniture before the age of 35. I mean, what are we waiting for? Come and have a chat with us.
Well, I know that's the dream certainly of a lot of young people, and you hear the concerns. I mean, some of them don't want to be paying rent for the rest of their lives, and they want to make that investment. And so you're saying that there is in fact a path with Republic Bank in that regard. So, and this is a great time to take it up We're all about independence right now, of course. Independence 47 happening right here in St. Lucia. And Republic Bank has an independence campaign on, and it's called Come Home. Lots of different offerings, lots of different loan offers. If you're interested in owning your own home, you want to come to your own home, that can all happen with Republic Bank. It might be home improvements, it could be purchasing land, it could be refinancing, and there are lots of different offers, including up to 100% financing, and of course, lots to take in for young people as well as first-time home owners as well. Florence, you've taken us through quite a lot, and I want to thank you for sharing with us all these wonderful details on the Come Home campaign. And it's pretty clear, I think, that Republic Bank is definitely committed to helping customers about their dreams with respect to home ownership and how they can achieve it. Any final message for our listeners out there, Florence?
Absolutely. And it gets even better. I have something really exciting to say.
Okay, wow. What more could there be? Well, okay, go ahead.
For the next 48 hours only, any new or existing customer who opens a new account online using Republic on board will be entered to win 2 tickets to Legacy. That's the Calypso Film Night this Saturday.
I'm seeing the videos out there of Destra Garcia circulating already.
Correct. Yes. So we encourage, customers to go in there, open these new accounts. You may just win. We have one winner per branch. So if you're in Viewfort, you get a chance to win Castries or Rodney.
So you could be in Viewfort, you stand a chance to win 2 tickets. In Castries, you stand a chance to win 2 tickets. If you're in Rodney Bay, you stand a chance to win 2 tickets as well. Wow, okay.
No one left behind.
That is fantastic. And of course, that's Legacy happening this coming weekend, this Saturday at the Pavilion in Rodney Bay. And it's featuring Destra Garcia and lots of St. Lucian artists and Calypsonians. And so, of course, great show to take in. And if you can get to see that show free of charge by winning those tickets, you just have to register online through Republic Onboard, get a new account. I'm sure there are lots of people out there who should be thinking about, why not have a Republic Bank account? It's a great thing to have. And this is a good reason to start one. So definitely. And it's at republicbanbec.com, correct?
Correct. So customers can visit the branch, any of our branches, or they could visit us online at republicbanbec.com to get started.
Wonderful. Well, there you have it, listeners. For the next 48 hours, open a new account online, Republic on board, and you can win your 2 tickets to Legacy this coming Saturday. And it happens, of course, we will be back next week for another program of Republic Corner and talking about Come Home with Republic Bank. And I think all I have to do now is to thank you, Florence DeMac, branch manager from Republic Bank VA4. Of course, that is Republic Bank EC Limited. Thank you so very, very much for sharing with us all the great news.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care and have a great one. And of course, that has been our Republic Corner here this Wednesday. We'll be back again next week, Wednesday, for another Republic Corner on the Lunchroom. We actually due to take in our weather report at this time, so we'll head across to take that in. Island style, yeah. We got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, yeah. We'll have to make the right choice. Island style. We got the time that will make you happy. Island style. Oh yeah. We make your dream come alive. In Island style. We have cans and insects, mixes and grow. Everything you need is on the outside. For the best price and the latest style. Take a little drive down to Island Style car. We got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, yeah. Quality, price, service, choice. It's all an Island Style.
Visit us at our showrooms in Bellarosa, Rodney Bay, on the John Compton Highway, Cash Street, and behind Ruby's Gas Station on the Library Viewport Highway. Or call us on 450-452 or 453-TILE. Island Style Tile and Bath. When you think tile, think Island Style.
This is Radio Caribbean International. It's now time for the weather news.
And that's what, of course, on the 1.1. It's now time for your weather report as of 12 noon today, presented by Island Style Tile and Bath. The forecast for Solution Valley for the next 24 hours. The winds will be blowing from the east, northeast, near 70 miles per hour or 28 kilometers per hour. The weather generally fair. That's right, there is an advisory in here which reads small craft operators and sea weavers are advised to exercise caution due to above normal seas. The forecast for the West Antilles, cloudy with quiet. That should be cloudy with widely scattered showers over the Leeward Islands. Elsewhere, fair to partly cloudy skies with a few showers. And the weather summary, the Atlantic high pressure system will maintain moderate easterly winds across the region during the next couple of days. A relatively dry and stable atmosphere over the Windward Islands will result in generally fair conditions during the next 24 hours. Also, a frontal trough will produce some cloudiness with showers over the Leeward Islands during the forecast period. And this has been your weather forecast as of 12 noon and presented by Island Style Tile and Bath.
This has been RCI's Weather News. For more information, call the Weather Hotline at 454-3452. RCI 101 number 1.
Island Style, yeah. We got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, yeah. We'll have to make the right choice. Island Style, whoa. We got the time that will make you happy. Island Style, oh yeah. We make your dream come alive in Island Style.
We have times and things, sets, mixes and grow. Everything you need is on the outside. For the best price and the latest style. Take a little drive down to Island Style car.
We got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, yeah. Quality, price, service, choice. It's all an Island Style.
Visit us at our showrooms in Bellarosa, Rodney Bay, on the John Compton Highway, Cash Street, and behind Ruby's Gas Station on the Library Viewport Highway. Or call us on 450-452 or 453-TILE. Island Style Tile and Bath. When you think tile, think Island Style.
And welcome back to the lunchroom here at Radio Caribbean International. Now, of course, we are at about 26 minutes before the hour of 2 o'clock. And we were just before we took in our Republic corner, we were taking in and talking about the matter of the new entrance into the transport sector here in St. Lucia, that of Uber. And of course, there are a number of other ride-sharing platforms that are very popular around the world. Lyft, for example, is one of those. Uber, seemingly very popular, certainly within the American and European markets and other places around the world. But you would find that sometimes you have some, in large markets, you may find particular players that dominate, that may be pretty popular. So I don't know what it is, what's big in China, but I would hazard a guess that they may very well be at their own platform in use. You find there are a lot of Chinese companies that do similar things, but their market is, because they've got such a massive market, they can develop pretty much on their own. Right here in St. Lucia, there have been some St. Lucians who are indigenous entities that have been providing ride-sharing options. I think of Ale, for example, which that we did interview some of the representatives some time back, and they've been operating for a couple of years now. And the same for Tropicab I believe it's called. They've also been providing services as well. From what I understand of it, in fact, they are actually doing what is more akin to what Uber would be doing in a lot of other countries. So that by that I mean you need not necessarily be, as far as I know, a registered taxi operator to be able to participate in those ride-sharing programs. In those types of situations, I know that has been the general fear for a lot of taxi operators, that you end up in a situation where you're now no longer competing amongst just a defined group of taxi drivers, but you now are dealing with a much broader space in terms of anybody who has a vehicle and who has the app and who's registered on that app, that they can in fact participate. So the level of competition in that kind of environment certainly gets much more extreme as compared to, let's say, what seemingly Uber is trying to deal with here in St. Lucia, where I think you already have to be a designated taxi operator, what you may call, I guess, a TX plate operator. It has, of course, raised lots of concerns. The government has said that they didn't actually give express approval to it. Of course, in many of these matters, what certainly has to be looked at is the legislation that is supporting the transport sector. And I would say certainly one of the areas where we do need more modern legislation is within the transport sector. It has changed quite some time, and especially when we look at some of the legislation that is governing things like roads and road standards and road designations. A lot of these things are coming from very old, antiquated pieces of legislation. The Roads Act, for example, I think found its first, its genesis somewhere around 1902, I think, a very, very long time ago. It's been updated over the years, but some of the references in there are very, very ancient. And it's certainly one of the areas where we do need to see a level of interest being placed in terms of modernizing the legislation. We've been seeing the issue of transport safety and accidents on our roads coming to the fore this year. It's been an issue over the years, certainly, and we've seen some horrendous accidents over the time. The question is it the issue of the quality of the road? Is it the issue of inadequate road safety, driver error? Is it recklessness? Is it the matter of road rage? Are people reacting to the psychological effects of congestion on the road? Are we dealing with really errant drivers? Are we finding that our young people, some of them are simply just not fit for the road because of the influence of alcohol and drug use? And there's so many distractions now in terms of texting while driving, use of technology on the roads. We've seen issues in terms of lighting of roads at night and the types of lights that are being used to illuminate vehicle paths, and some of those are blinding, certainly. A lot of difficulty. We have older drivers on the road as our population begins to age, and their ability to depth and perception might be challenged. There are so many different things that are going in to this sector, and which, of course, are influencing road safety. And all of them have to be as well as one should also make mention of the matter of the role of enforcers, persons who are expected to enforce those laws, the laws that we do in fact have, their role as well, and how active and how well they're able to do so. So many different players within this transport space. And of course, within that context, as well, the matter of who should be providing transport services is another major one. And while we're at it, we should also speak about the matter of public transit. And perhaps no really developed country can boast about development if it does not have good public transit. And we say that against the backdrop of course, the United States of America, where public transit is few and far between. It is all about the individualized transit for individualized travel and transport for very much most American cities. Very high car dependency, very high dependency on large trucks for moving around goods and services. But that's not the norm, I would say, in most very developed countries. They tend to have very well developed public transit systems from the level of the city to the regional level as well. And we've seen a tremendous effort by some countries, for example, in that of rail. High-speed rail, for example, is a major hallmark of a lot of countries' backbone infrastructure. China, of course, the most prominent leader in that regard, with thousands and thousands of kilometers of track put down and massive points, terminals being built in Chinese cities all around. But the same can be said for very early leaders in the technology, like the Shinkansen in Japan and the TGV over in France, and many new players as well. The Spanish, for example, major players in that regard. So we've seen the matter of public transit being very important, and certainly when the average St. Lucian goes to New York, and they might very well be utilizing the MTA and all the services that are abound in that city and other cities around the world. So that may be very complex for very large population centers, but having a good and decent bus service is also very important, and ensuring that those services run over an extended period of time, that provide opportunities for people to have greater freedom and sense of an ability to plan their daily lives. So it is a major issue for a lot of St. Lucians, and we know the challenge that has existed, especially in places like the West Coast and in some rural communities, in respect of being able to get a bus after 5 o'clock. And of course, many people then end up having to hitch rides, and of course, it can become certainly as well a safety matter for many people who are faced with these types of situations. So we, of course, as a country, have to look at transport in a very serious way. And the matter of Uber, I think it's a good opportunity to look at the sector and to see what is it that we're going to be facing. Because very soon, right, today we're talking about Uber, but then there's a whole new wave of autonomous driving and vehicles that may very well come our way in the not too distant future. Let's take in a call, head to the phone lines at this time to take in our first call of the day. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Lunchroom. What's on your plate?
Hi, good afternoon.
How are you doing, caller?
I'm fine, thank you. I just want to ask a question concerning the doctors and nurses from Cuba. Now that it's going to be a little difficult for us to have the nurses and doctors too, what is the agreement now? Because yes, I watched a news clip. Antigua just took 112 nurses from Ghana. Mm-hmm. They will be sign a contract for the next 3 years. So I'm hoping now that, because what they're saying, they lack the nurses, they lack that skill. So because most of the people are leaving and they really do need it, so they will be able to contract 112. So what if there tomorrow Trump decide and he because I realized I went online and I realized they reversed the visa restriction they had on Ghana. Mm-hmm. So I suppose that they may not say nothing for now. But what if something happens now and they decide, they have a problem with Ghana or everything, so they will start pushing back again, preventing us from having the assistance needed from those countries.
Yeah, I think the situation with respect to nurses and doctors from Cuba is a very peculiar one because it is, of course, wrapped up with the American issues with respect to Cuba. Particularly, of course, we do know that the current U.S. head of Secretary of State is of Cuban descent. It is, I think, one could say perhaps more than a pet project for him or pet peeve.
But he is a Cuban dissident, but isn't he an American citizen right now? Isn't Cuba
yes,
sovereign state?
Of course. But the reality of American politics, especially in Florida, has been strongly influenced by Cuban Americans, right? Many of them have held very strong views about how America should approach Cuba and maintaining the embargo, which has gone on for decades, and for tightening it, and for wanting to see.
And then I heard they want to squeeze Cuba even more.
Of course, definitely, and we've seen that. I mean, even the efforts in respect of Venezuela has certainly been aligned towards that goal in respect of Cuba. So, in as much as we're hearing about Greenland, we're hearing about other places around the world, let's not think that the United States is not as well as they've done over the years. Strongly considering one of their closest next door neighbors, right?
Taking them over.
Well, we did hear President Donald Trump effectively saying that he is now in control and is running Venezuela, right?
Yes, and I just think they just opened what they call it, the embassy. So put the ambassador and all sorts of things there. I think
so. If we're going in terms of historical precedent of the U.S. in Latin America and the Caribbean, I mean, it's pretty hard to find a place, whether it's Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Honduras. There have been so many places where we've seen, effective, U.S. control over, or in very strong influence over what happens in those countries, their economies, and inclusive of their politics. So, I mean, we have not. I don't know if we've heard specifically the statement that there's a desire for regime change in Cuba, but if you look at the years of policy at this point in time towards Cuba, it's hard to imagine that is not has not been part of a goal for a very long time. Right? Yes, we've seen changes perhaps under other administrations, but this current administration has been certainly very aggressive in its attempts at regime change, and I would not expect any different in the case of Cuba, which has been a long-standing target of sorts.
Now I need you to do a little more research because last night I was listening to the news, and the UK and Europe working out something with a solution at the Caribbean nations for exports and imports. What they call it, the EPA.
Oh, that's been around for a little while, Caller.
Okay,
yes.
But right now I think they because of the tariff, Donald Trump. So now they kind of want to give because I listened to that. It sounded very, very encouraging to see that right now they're saying, okay, right now you want to go against, people, you are doing the same thing, so we're going to, support you. And just listening to the news clip and saying, we don't even have to reciprocate, and all sorts of things. And they actually willing to work. And I even listened to the High Commissioner from UK. So, and I think, but I wonder if they will not get backlash again from Trump, because he seems to be everywhere.
Well, I mean, a lot of countries, as Carney has put it, the middle powers. Yes, they're not China. Yes, they're not the United States of America, but collectively they can band together and certainly be a force to reckon with. They are certainly looking at that. So Canada is trying to really strengthen its trade partnerships with the European Union and other players. Likewise, the
Because
EU.
Canada is part of the European Union, of course.
No, it's not.
It's
not
a
part of the,
Commonwealth. It's a Commonwealth state.
It's a Commonwealth
Yeah.
state, but it's not
Yes,
part of the
but not
EU.
part. Okay.
And but they are looking at, I mean, that has been touted, exactly what you're suggesting, that maybe they should join the EU. Interestingly,
Yes, yes.
but then also you have the EU looking at a lot of other possibilities. I think they just recently signed a trade agreement with Mercosur, which are countries in South America, including Brazil. So they're trying to certainly deepen, create larger markets for themselves and for their goods. So it's a time when a lot of other countries are now trying to coalesce.
They should bind together. That's the time when most of countries need to bind together to stand against the, that mighty power, because, I mean, he just has the leeway to do what he wants, when he wants. It's that everybody fears standing up against him and all of those things. And it's small Caribbean contributors, the less developed places, they're suffering. They're paying for the price of all of those things, making it very difficult.
Yeah, well,
we should not.
It's. I suppose it's. Well, in some sense, the U.S. I mean, it's one country, and although yes, they have different states and stuff, but it's one country, one president. It's always a little difficult when you're talking about a group of. I mean, you have the G7, right? But it's still a very loose grouping in some sense, although it's one of the strongest of it, or the G20.
Mm-hmm.
But then we end up getting grouped as the G90. You have to deal with another 89 countries, and it's not as easy sometimes for all of them to agree. I remember at one point we were even grouped with for trade purposes with Europe. We were grouped with Caribbean and Pacific countries, the ACP.
Yeah, I think the African is part of the EPA too. To me, that's what I did. The news.
If they would have signed something separate, we've had an EPA with which is CARIFORUM, the Caribbean, CARICOM Community and Dominican Republic have had an agreement with the European Union for a good number of years now. As to how well that has gone, as to how much it's really leveraged, I don't know. But end of that, I think it was sort of tied towards the whole Schengen. I not purely, but we were able to get visa-free access to the EU within that sort of space. Although that too,
but you still do the research on it for me, and let me explain it in more detail.
More detail? Okay, sure. Maybe we can even try.
And I need to ask you one question before I go. Do you think that we should celebrate our two Nobel laureates, Derek Walcott and Arthur Lewis? Do you think we should include anybody else in this celebrating those two?
Well, we have included a lot of other people in some ways and forms and fashions. I mean, in
that month of January, shouldn't it be designated just for the two of them?
Well, I think it's the idea has always been to dedicate it for excellence. I mean, as of now, they are the two Nobel Prize winners, all right, that have been achieved. And the idea of the festival from the start was about
the two of them.
These two.
Because as far as I understand from my one thing, so Arthur Lewis is the only black man that has ever received a Nobel Prize in economics.
Yes, well, in the sciences. In
the
sciences.
He's the only black man.
Still is the only black person.
Yes, so that alone is special. So because why I asked that? Because last week I heard Iper saying that we should be. It shouldn't be about celebrating the two Nobel laureates, because it's celebrating people like Rick Wayne, people like this person and that. So I think they might as well celebrate everybody that born in the month of January. Because you still have Dr. King, you have what's his name, Mario Michel, a lot of big you.
Oh, thank you. But are you born in January, Kola?
My daughter.
Oh, your daughter. Okay. Just wondering.
No, but I mean, I can understand celebrating excellence, but if these two have done, because I don't think any other Caribbean country has had any Nobel Prize winners.
Well, they have.
Maybe one.
Trinidad had V.S. Naipaul. I think there was somewhere else.
I think it's only Trinidad,
Yeah.
And St. Michael's too.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
an achievement.
Yes. And in fact, the Trinidadians I remember were boasting when there was an award that was given, I think, for climate change to
Mm-hmm.
this
Yes,
committee.
I remember about night.
And that committee had a whole set of people on it, inclusive of some Trinidadians. So they were like, yeah, Trinidad got something. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's certainly a remarkable achievement of these two Nobel Prize winners, and we certainly want to hope that as a country we can continue on that legacy of
Yes,
excellence.
yes.
But it has to, of course, there has to be active action
I'm hoping for
to do
food.
so, right? Or third, or
You
fourth,
just
or
say
fifth.
Dr. Paris will be our food.
Well, there was a point where he was nominated, I believe, his
Yeah.
work in pain
Mhm.
medicine, pain treatment.
I'm hoping that we
Uh,
can still
So
get
well,
it.
but yeah, I think it's the growth of the festival has been good and wonderful, and it certainly is, I would say, a lot more than just the two gentlemen. I think it's going to show, I mean, what they've inspired, what their work has
Yes,
inspired,
yes.
the people who have followed in their footsteps, the people who have,
Yeah.
I mean, that there's a lot of clear of that happening, and I think um it would be good to celebrate some other Nobel Prize winners as well within the
And if you realize
festival.
the amount of poets and spoken word people that are coming day by day, you see the number of them,
Yes,
they go in
yes,
large numbers.
yes. Kudos. I want to send out kudos to Karen Tobier and her Auntie Powell Creole, which occurred over the weekend.
Yeah, my
And
friend's son.
and it was really, really wonderful.
You
Oh,
were there?
Miss, yes, I was there. Is that Miss Edwards?
Miss
Edmonds.
Edmonds, yes, Nikki.
Nikki Edmonds. Yeah, she did a
Yes, she
fabulous
sang.
job there. Yes, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
And really high quality of performances, of poetry, of songs, and I mean,
I
and it
just think
was.
they don't celebrate
And I
the
agree with
the,
you.
po-
I
the
agree with you.
poets
And
and them, because
yeah,
I think last year I went to one at the resource in Gozile, and the spoken word and the poetry, I mean, that was excellent. But it's like about 15 people that were there.
right. So this time, at least they were, I think, a bit more than 15. I think almost
Yeah.
70 people. But the point is that it could have even been bigger, and
Yes,
in
yes.
terms of the audience, and although she was already sold to capacity, so the people that were there were a lot more than what she was expecting.
Okay.
But it was certainly a fantastic product, a fantastic experience.
Yeah.
And I think it really shows that we can do so much more in terms of our creative sector. And if we maybe just market it a little bit, perhaps, I would say.
Yes. Now, my
Yeah.
friend Nikki, she's sang, and she is very, very good.
Yes.
I think, but the only thing is that, right now she is out of work. And she's been looking for a speaker, so she can do her recording on it. And
Oh.
it has not been yet. She's really need of one of those things,
Mm-hmm.
a speaker. Because she writes for the school children when they do the calypso and all sorts of things. That's the winner last year or year before. She wrote his song.
Okay. Wow.
Yes,
Wonderful.
she's very good at writing.
And of course, her
composing.
dad was a long-standing contributor to the program here. He
Yes,
used to call in quite a lot.
So-
Blessed memory, Mr.
Yeah.
Edmonds. So certainly,
Yeah.
the good
Okay
stuff
then,
indeed. Thanks
take
very
care.
much, caller, for your
Yeah.
contribution,
All right, bye-bye.
and have a good one. And of course, yes, we were saying that the matter of transport is a really important one. And transport planning, seeing how important it is to the development of the country, is definitely something that is quite often maybe not taken as seriously as it should. But it's something that it takes a long time for planning. So, and it's not something that is only a challenge right here in St. Lucia. It's something that even the United States of America, they've got major challenges in respect of trying to upgrade and achieve certain projects. As we were speaking about high-speed rail in China and many other countries in Europe, the same cannot be said of the United States and the projects that they have been pushing in that regard. The likes of the California high-speed rail, these have been mired in years of challenges and funding challenges as well, and route challenges. So it's not a situation that is an issue only here, but we do have perhaps examples around the world which we can learn from, and to see that, of course, it is an important aspect in our economic development and economic driver. Well, and of course, I guess that's a pun there, and economic drivers, and something we have to look at, not just in terms of the external stuff, but also not just the ports and airports, but even our internal transport systems as well. So no doubt there'll be a lot more talk on the matter of Uber and other shifts and disruptors into the transit sector as we continue to develop. That's our program for today here at the Lunchroom. And we do hope that we can be back again, God willing, for another program tomorrow. Hope you have a very blessed and wonderful Wednesday. Take care.